what is the great fault that opens the door to all negative qualities? Holding oneself more precious than others, a characteristic of lowly beings. Anybody beside me volunteer to fit this description? Yeah? Okay. So what is the great fault that opens the door to all negative qualities, holding oneself more precious than others, a characteristic of lowly beings? Okay, so how does holding oneself more precious than others open the door to all negative qualities? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so to protect the self, to help the self get what we want, yeah, then every other affliction arises. You know, I want happiness, so I need this, I need that, I deserve it more than other people do. This person got in the way of my happiness, I can't stand them, I've got to attack them, you know, and get rid of them. I'm jealous of so-and-so because they have something that actually I should have, but the universe owes it to me. I'm proud, you know, because of what I achieved, and I'm so great, and when I'm lazy it's just all okay and there's no problem, and when I lack integrity, you know, I mean, yeah, why have integrity when my goal is to get everything I want? You know, there's no space in there for integrity or for consideration for others, because it is all about me, the center of the universe. And so that attitude opens the door to all negative qualities, which opens the door to all negative actions. Yeah? And so on one level, you know, we can look, and in our meditation we can see this. You know, I mean, if you meditate it becomes quite obvious. But then it's like, but if I don't stick up for myself, who's going to stick up for me? Remember when you heard that as a kid? Yeah? And you've got to stick up for yourself. And, you know, not everything I want is selfish. You know, and you know, just this thing of like intellectually, yeah, self-centeredness is misplaced, but gut feeling is like, if I'm not self-centered, people are going to run all over me. You know, they're going to take advantage of me, they're going to abuse me, they're going to, you know, lie about me behind other people's back. They're, you know, I've got to stick up for myself and get what I want, because nobody else is going to give me what I want but me, and I need that. You know? So there's this, you know, two sides of us. One side that completely understands this verse, and the other side that says, but, you know? So this produces a little bit of tension within ourselves. Yeah? And it's, you know, and then we get really involved in this tension. Oh, I'm so confused. Is it good to be selfish? Is it not good to be selfish? Oh, it's lousy to be selfish. I'm so bad. I'm so guilty because I'm so selfish. This is terrible. No wonder I'm a disaster. Nobody loves me, you know, because I am so selfish. But if I stop being selfish, then they're all going to take advantage of me, and I'm not going to achieve anything I want. And then we just go around and round in circles about this, you know, don't we? Do I say something? Because if I say something, it's selfish. If I don't say something, then, you know, that's also selfish because I'm wanting to look like a good Buddhist. Yeah, you know that one? It's like, oh, I can't say what I really want because then I won't look like a good Buddhist, so I've got to be quiet and humble and do, you know, like make sure everybody else is taken care of, and then figure out how to get what I want without, of course, looking like I'm trying to get what I want, or even acknowledging it to myself. Oh, I'm sorry, it's so confusing, isn't it? Okay, so this is the characteristic of lowly beings. Why lowly beings? It's part of your mind saying, I'm not a lowly being. I'm not a lowly being just because I think like this.
If we had any wisdom, once we saw it, we would actually be able to stop it.
Well, it's not just a question of seeing it with wisdom, it's a question of habituating ourselves with the wisdom. Okay? So maybe what makes it a quality of lowly beings is we don't put forth the effort to habituate ourselves with understanding the disadvantages of the self-centered thought and the benefits of cherishing others. You know, we understand it here, but the habituation that actually makes the transformation, we haven't engaged in that. So what makes it lowly is that we make a big deal out of our own small, tiny whatever. Meanwhile, people who have really severe problems, we don't even notice or care about. Yeah, we're only concerned about our tiny thing. And so that is a lowly mental state, isn't it? Yeah. That's why we're called childish beings. Yeah, so a lowly, self-centeredness is a lowly practice because we don't see the consequences of our own actions. Yeah, and we don't really sit down and think about them. And if people point them out to us, we usually deny them. Because, as you said, we're always right. So how can there be negative consequences from what I say or what I do when I happen to be right all the time?
Especially if you get a little spiritual practice too, like speaking out today of myself and some friend who's like, well, I read this and I know this, and everything I do is in accord with the Dharma.
Right.
So I can do whatever I want. Skillful means right off the bat.
Right. Yeah. So also an inability to admit our faults, or to even consider that we have any, or to open our mind to consider other people's perspective on a situation, or what may be important to them. Yeah. So self-centeredness is quite limited and limiting. You know, we can't see very far with it because it's all about me. Yeah. Okay. So self-centeredness is about getting what you want and then preserving it forever. So there's no space for change or growth or reality, for that matter. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's about getting my duckies in this row and keeping them in the row. You know, not realizing that, you know, we may want to redesign them ourselves later on. You know, I mean, the mind is so small in the middle of self-centeredness. Yeah, that it's true. If you're self-centered and you're a squeaky wheel, you do get attention. What she's referring to is this great skit we did once. That was so true. It was not a skit at all. You know, what'd you say? Okay, yes. It's a documentary. Maybe we should do it again, okay? Yeah. But it was, who was it? Somebody played the monastic. Who was it who played the monastic? Well, yeah, were you? Somebody played the monastic, and then everybody else was the anagarikas, you know. And how the anagarikas, you know, we have our stand-up meeting in the morning, and every morning there's a complaint from the Anagarika, you know. It's like I don't like the robe, and you know, I'm too hot wearing, because the Anagarika thing has long, I'm too hot wearing long sleeves, and I can't do my activities in the summer because it's long sleeves. I want the Anagarika outfit to have short sleeves. And then somebody else saying, I don't like the color, you know, so we got to change the color. And then, you know, just, oh yeah, the buttons. You don't like the buttons, you know. Yeah, these are ugly buttons, you know. Can we have zippers instead, or can we have pretty buttons, or, you know, and the fabric is too rough. And do I put my jacket on over my Anagarika shirt or under my Anagarika shirt? Because if I put it under, then if I get too warm, I have to take it off. Then I have to go in the bathroom, take off my jacket, and then take off the other thing, and then put it back on. And that's just too much of a hassle. So I want to keep my jacket on over my Anagarika shirt, you know? Yeah.